Hello and welcome to Truth Moments with Ethel. I wanted to talk about a very interesting thing I found out about myself when I was in a sort of roundtable conference with women in the nonprofit sector. So I've just got home. Let me just unload my bags and we will get right to it. Right. So I'm back. So I had something curious and interesting happen to me a couple of weeks ago. So I was in a boardroom conversation with a number of women in the nonprofit sector. Most of them didn't have a lot of corporate experience. Or at least hadn't gone up to the corporate level I had gotten to before I left to start my business. And as we were in the room and the conversations were coming up and down, someone called me out for speaking over someone. So I got taken aback just for a moment, and then I let the person speak and moved on from there. But it made me think a little bit of how I've had in when I worked in corporate and even as an entrepreneur, I've had to call people out, specifically a lot of men out, for speaking over women or even speaking over each other in boardrooms. And for me, I'm from that learning, from that school of, for a woman to survive in the boardroom as I work through corporate and into entrepreneurship, you must be able to, when spoken over, to pull the conversation back, to be able to ensure that if somebody is trying to interrupt you, you can make your point and speak over somebody who's trying to interrupt you. That sort of aggression that happens in the boardroom, that we essentially train women leaders in the boardroom to be in order to survive in the boardroom. And I've taken that learning and brought it to an environment where, specifically in the nonprofit sector, where with women leaders in the nonprofit sector, where people raise their hand when they need to speak, wait for their turn to speak respectfully, not over each other, and move on. Sadly, I'm the aggressor in the room, and that's very interesting. And it got me thinking, the thing that we've taught women to be in order to survive, wouldn't it just be better if we, boardrooms and startup pitches and the etc., were run the way women have been trained, which is to wait for your turn to speak, which is to lift your hand if you have to say something, and to be called upon and to be respectful of other people's voices in the room. It's very interesting. I mean, I didn't realize in a group of women leaders who were the nonprofits, I was then the aggressor because I had brought the bad habits from entrepreneurship and corporate into a conversation which is more peaceful and more respectful. Generally wonder whether, rather than train women that way, and I understand this is the way it is, would it not be interesting to train a whole generation of men and women in the boardroom to be more respectful, less aggressive, more able to wait for their turn and speak in boardrooms across the world? Would that just not make boardrooms better experiences rather than the combative places that they become over time? I don't know. I'm still mulling over it in my head.